Okay, so let's move on to scene three. This is a relatively short scene, right? There's only Hal and Claire in this scene, and I think the purpose of it is to actually give us a little bit more insight on what their concerns are, where the proof is concerned, and where Catherine is concerned, as well as their motivations behind their concerns. Okay, so first things first, Claire is obviously really concerned about Catherine, as we realize at the start of this scene, she's not doing well, right? She's been sleeping since yesterday and she's not getting up, she's not eating, and so on. So Claire's obviously concerned about her, and I think she's really upset, with what's happened between Hal and Catherine. There's a sense of her wanting to protect Catherine from Hal. Um, she seems to blame Hal for getting mixed up with Catherine, especially in on such intimate terms, emotionally and physically. So she asks him and she says, why did you sleep with her? I have to take care of her, and it's just a little bit harder with you jerking her around. She also accuses him of taking advantage of her when she was in a fragile and vulnerable position, especially since she's just lost her father. Okay, but Hal seems to be of a differing opinion. Initially, he seems to retaliate to Claire by questioning her, taking Catherine away without even asking for Catherine's opinion, or, giving Catherine her personal freedom and her personal rights. And he says, um, she's a lot tougher than you think. And when he actually retaliates, what he does is to, cause Claire to really flare up at him. So she flares up, and what she says gives us a clearer understanding of what she's really frustrated about. Let's look at these few lines when she says, you fucking mathematicians, you just don't think. You stagger around creating these catastrophes, and I have to clean it up. So, obviously, a lot of her frustration stems from all these years of her father being completely obsessed with his work and not paying attention to his daughters. And the person who took the brunt of this was obviously Catherine. And, Claire's just really angry about that. And now here's another mathematician, another guy in the form of Hell, who just walked in and had this physical relationship with her sister and got her to be all vulnerable again, and he hurt her, and her father has barely just died recently, and Hal should have known better. He should have known that when people lose their loved ones, they are going to be vulnerable, and you don't just start a relationship at this point in time, right? And her second sense of frustration, sorry, the second reason behind her frustration is her father's talent, and how both his daughters seem to have inherited it. Claire is a currency analyst, and she says, I probably inherited about 1,000 of his ability, and it's enough. So she's saying, the microscopic amount of inheritance she got is enough because she's a successful currency analyst in New York. But Catherine is not like her. Catherine has inherited probably a lot more. And along with this inheritance, there's the whole burden of that insanity that comes along with genius. And Claire's just frustrated. She's frustrated with, even after dying, even after he's passed on, Robert's obsession with mathematics still seems to live on. Right now, she doesn't know exactly how damaged her sister is, and she's just really angry about it. So, as soon as she flares up, the first thing that Hal says is, at the bottom of page 67, he says, okay, but yet he doesn't leave, right? David Auburn writes, beat. He doesn't move. So obviously he's waiting for something, and then Hal says, there's one more thing and you're not going to like it. And then Claire surprises him and says, sure, take the notebook. So um, it's interesting to note that despite the proof being Catherine's work, she is not included in the decision of what to do with it. Hal and Claire decide between themselves, right? And to Claire, Hal's interest in the notebook is further proof that he's just there to try and get in on the possible fame and recognition that comes along with this proof, if he can actually get it verified by other people in the field that it's a legitimate piece of work. So Claire says, don't worry, I understand, it's very sweet you want to see Catherine, but of course you'd like to see the notebook too. So as far as Claire's concerned, Hal is more interested in the notebook and not so much about Catherine and everything he said earlier about accusing her of depriving Catherine of her rights, of her freedom. I mean, she doesn't want to take it seriously because she thinks all Hal wants is just the notebook. And unfortunately, Hal's reaction seems to prove her right. He seems to be guilty. He stumbles and he says he comes up with some lame excuses, or what seems quite lame because of the way he delivers it. You know, he stumbles and he says, no, it's my responsibility, and I can't turn my back on the necessity. And Catherine just interrupts him, right? She interrupts him and says, relax, I don't care, take it, right? Because for her, it's just a convenient option available. Um, but, but, right at the end of page 68, she says, can you tell me about it, the proof? I'm curious, right? And this is linked to what she says about how Catherine probably inherited her father's genius. I think she's curious because she really wants to know how true it is. Because if it is true, like I've been telling you all along, she's concerned because if it's true, then she can be prepared for the madness that comes along with the genius. So it's even more important for her to take Catherine away to New York and make sure she has all the preparations done so that Catherine can be looked after and not be a burden the way her father was. So that's the end of this scene. Catherine's not included at all, right? And it's Hal and Claire deciding what to do with the proof for their own personal motivations.